In honor of Sam Raimi's new film, Send Help, this is Flights and Flicks, and this is the Outliers of Sam Raimi films. Hey, welcome to Cinema Gulp, everybody. I'm Ben One.
And I'm Ben Ass. And this is The Quick and the Dead. Bang! So The Quick and the Dead is a 1995 film directed by, of course, Sam Raimi. It had a budget of $32 million, but only grossed $18.6 worldwide. But it is a great Sam Raimi stylized Western starring Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman, Russell Crowe, Leonardo DiCaprio, just amazing cast. And Sharon Stone plays a woman gunfighter who has come back to the town of Redemption, where she enters a gunslinger tournament that that just consists of like the greatest toonish cast of scoundrels the West has ever produced. And throughout the film, you see these great like stylized gunfights that are totally in Sam Raimi style with these whip zooms and just this great sound design. But anyways, the tournament is organized by Gene Hackman's character Herod, and he's just a real piece of shit, a mobster type. He charges all these poor dirt farmers protection money and stuff.
He's basically the same character from Unforgiven if he didn't die.
That's right. Spoiler alert, that might happen in this movie too. So not technically a sequel to either one. Yeah, so the lady, Sharon Stone's character, is there for revenge. We come to find out. We learn a little bit more about that. Everyone's there for a specific reason. A few of the fighters are just money, fame, but some of them have like ulterior motives of sorts. Leonardo DiCaprio is Gene Hackman's illegitimate son who just wants to step out of his father's shadow and earn his father's love and respect. And he thinks he can do that by winning this gun slinger tournament. Russell Crowe, maybe the most interesting character in the film. He plays a priest who used to be a wrangler or what have you, a desperado with Gene Hackman. They'd just be killing people and robbing banks and stuff. And one day he refused to kill a priest. And he ran away before Gene Hackman could get him. And then he became a priest. So I don't know. I guess it's good he wasn't asked to kill an ice cream man. Yeah. The tournament progresses. You know, we meet some of these characters in town and what's going on with them and who's willing to help who. But yeah, it's just a wonderful stylized Western. So for my beer, I chose Goofy Boots, a hazy IPA by Penrose. It features mosaic hops. Let's see if the back of the can says anything about it. There are a ton of boot shots in this movie, and they're great. Like oh my god, shoes. But all these gunfighters have their own style and personality. You know, in some ways, some of them are like caricatures, but like they're really interesting and cool looking. And but a lot of them, they maybe have like their hats a little different. Like, you know, like Lance Henriksen like puts the top of his hat at an angle. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you know, Ace, the best gun in the West, right? So he's got black leather, and like he actually had in his boots, he has like embroidered like playing cards, right? It's really cool looking, right? And then the lady wears spurs, but Russell Crowe's character doesn't. And his boots are a little more beat up than most other characters. Everyone's shoe still kind of matches their personality that they're bringing to the film. I thought that was kind of interesting. So I went with this Goofy Boots Hazy IPA. Let's see how hazy it is.
I was wondering where you're going with the boots. Now it makes sense.
Yeah, dude. Have you do by the time you're done getting all that boot footage, you're gonna feel like Quentin Tarantino. You know what I mean?
I like feet. I do not know why.
Crisp at the start, inoffensive aftertaste, nice wheaty feel there on the tongue for a minute.
That sounds like a perfect description of the film. I chose A Simple Plan, which I think is his most mature film. It's a lot of people call it his Fargo, and I can see why. There's similarities there with money and greed, and obviously taking place in a very snowy location. This film follows Hank and his brother Jacob and Hank's wife Sarah, and they just live this small town life. They didn't really amount to what they wanted to. Hank is a big time college grad, but kind of just moved back to his hometown and sort of became kind of the bookkeeper of this sort of feed farm store. And Jacob is a complete fucking psychopathic, strange, slow individual, we'll say it, played by Billy Bob Thornton, who is incredible in this movie, and he actually got the one Oscar nomination that this movie got, which is for Best Supporting Actor. Bill Paxton plays Hank. He's always solid, very solid in this film. And Sarah is played by Bridget Fonda, who goes through a roller coaster of a character in this film. So it follows the two brothers as they sort of navigate this non-existence in this town. Jacob's out of the job. Hank hates his job. He's got a baby on the way, and they go out to commemorate the death of their father, and they drop some flowers off at his gravesite. And they're also joined by this country bumpkin character named Lou, who's just a hot mess. He's your stereotypical backwoods, neck bearded, overweight, beer chugging, who seems to have a beef with Hank. So on the way back from visiting the father's grave, they stop. Jacob's dog runs out of the the greatest pickup truck you'll ever see in a movie. It's very stereotypical. And he runs off into the woods, and it is snowing. It is thick snow. So the three gentlemen go out looking for the dog, and they stumble upon a crashed, very small airplane. And Hank, at the beginning of the movie anyway, being the good Samaritan he is, goes to check to see if anybody's alive or what's going on. And they find a giant bag of $4.4 million in cash. And you have Lou and Jacob saying, well, no one's looking for this money. This plane crashed. It's getting buried in snow. What are we going to do? And you have Hank saying, no, we can't do it. I'm straight-laced, man. I got a kid on the way. We got to take this money to the sheriff here. And they ultimately convince him, you know what? We got to take this money, man. But Hank has the simple plan of, let's hang on to it. Let's wait till the end of spring. Snow is melted. People find the plane. If no one's looking for that money, then we'll distribute it. But the key is we all have to leave town, which is really, really stupid because that gives you away right away. But again, this is a simple plan, and I'm getting to that. For the beer that I chose for story, it's from Fall Brewing Company. It's my favorite Pilsner of all time. I've had it many times. It's called Plenty for All Pilsner. It's a California Pilsner, which is probably why I've had it a lot of times. Plenty for all, because when you first see these characters, once they convince Hank, let's take the money, they're like, okay, split it three ways. This is great. There's plenty for all of us. But Hank wants to, he's like, I will only agree to this if I'm the one who hides the money. And they're like, why? Are you better than us? He's like, no, because I'm not doing it otherwise. And right there, is the problem with Hank, where he thinks he's the smart one, but he's actually the worst one. This movie, like I said, it's Fargo if Sam Raimi directed it. You still get a lot of his signature framing, angles, and especially transitions, with the very, very understated Danny Elfman score. Unfortunately, he didn't use his cinematographer that he normally does, but the guy he used was perfect for this movie.
There you go.
Oh, wow. Goes down like a fine Meisterbra.
The Quick and the Dead has a phenomenal cast with Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Russell Crowe. But what I want to do today, instead of focusing like on one of their characters or one of the main or more featured characters in the film, I want to focus on the character actors, because this is also a who's of that guys. Okay, Lance Henriksen, one of the most famous that guys in the history of film, Lance Henriksen. Keith David, okay, Tobin Bell, that's the guy from Saw. Sven Thorsen. Kevin Smith fans will know him as that security guard from Mallrats, LaForge, I think. And then there was also Robert Blossom, who was the scary old man from Home Alone that knocked the wet bandits out with his shovel.
The South Bend Shovel Slayer.
That's right.
Yeah.
My personal favorite, Pat Hingle, Commissioner Gordon from the first 4 Batman movies. But yeah, it's just a cavalcade of character actors and that guys. A beer I came across that really spoke to me about that was Pipeworks beer. It's just beer. It's not meant to out, but that's good. That's crisp. Goes down smooth. It's not fancy, but it stands out in its own way because it's not the lead. I don't know. I don't really know if any of that makes sense, but this is for those character actors out there.
Cheers to that. So for my character in A Simple Plan, I chose 2 people. You can really equate this to anyone in this film. The characters are simple, and it goes with the theme of the film. They're very simple people that think they have a good plan, but they really don't have a good plan at all. Jacob being the person that you would think is a very simple person.
I ain't got a good brain.
And then also Hank, who thinks he's, really smart, but he's book smart, but he's also very simple-minded in these kind of things. But the character that I wanted to focus on is Sarah. And Sarah is Hank's wife, played by Bridget Fonda, who's brilliant in this movie. And her character starts out as the loving wife. She's pregnant. She doesn't seem like the kind of person that would go along with this plan. Hank finally comes to her and says, we have this bag full of fucking money. What do you think about it? You'll never have to work. Our kid will be safe. Blah, blah, blah. She is very hesitant for about 10 seconds. And then she becomes the instigator of this entire film. And all of Sarah's ideas get people killed. Spoilers. Her idea to have Hank tape record Lou to make it seem like he's confessing obviously turns into a big bloodbath. Taking the money back, take some of the money back to the plane. Just take some of it back. That's where you get your first murder. Because Hank decides to take Jacob. I don't know why. It's because they're all simple-minded dumbasses. That's why. I'm going to take my brother, who is a hot off the handle kind of psychopath, with me to stand lookout in case someone comes along. Like, you don't already know that your brother is really dumb and always says the wrong things. So every idea that Sarah has gets people killed and doesn't do them any favors with this plan. There was no reason to go and drop $500,000 back off at the plane. That is so dumb. It doesn't do anything for anybody. So I'm dedicating my next beer, character beer, to Sarah, because Jacob, although you would think he's the most simple-minded, he's actually the most complex character in the movie. And the beer that I chose for Sarah is from Alesmith Brewing Company. It's called Anvil Pilsner. And the reason I chose it is because it is considered one of the most simplest Pilsners you'll ever drink. Very simplistic in flavor, not much to it. It's good, it's smooth, but it is considered a very, very simple Pilsner because this movie just calls for it. It's a very simple beer. And so far, just dealing with a bunch of simple-minded motherfuckers. So I'm going to drink it. This is the alderwood of smoking wood. It's just, there's nothing to it. It's almost tasteless, Ben. Even though I'm not enjoying it because there's no flavor to it, it perfectly matches the dumbass characters and the simple-mindedness of them in this film.
So for theme, I chose whiskey sour, mostly because it had whiskey in the name, which says an inspired ale. It's like a team up between Revolution Brewing and Tip Top Proper Cocktails. It's a whiskey sour inspired ale, infused malt, proudly brewed only in Chicago. So I chose this beer though, because this Western is very much a Western. It's in the desert. There's this town. I've always wondered this about Western movies. Like in most of them, the ones I've seen anyways, the town is just a line of like 6 buildings on either side of what is not a road. It's just desert, more desert that no one cleaned up.
You usually on the Universal lot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like, there's never enough buildings for all these people to live in. It doesn't seem like anything grows there. But that's where a lot of these movies take place. And it's got just great gunfights. Like I said, it's very stylized in the Sam Raimi fashion, which I love. But I mean, it just hits all these great themes. The costuming's great. The music's perfect for it. The guns are very realistic until they're not in fun ways. So yeah, but a big theme in the film is drinking too. And I couldn't find any sarsaparilla, but they're drinking a lot of whiskey in that movie. All right. Wow, I like that.
Does it hold up to what the name of it is?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Tastes a little like a whiskey sour.
Lucky bastard.
Yeah, not too much nip to it though.
It's probably the hops, right? Or the
it's got a little bit of like a malty aftertaste, but like it's good. It's real good. And don't be sour, cowboy. Dude, it all makes sense.
So for me, theme. This is there's a lot of stuff going on in A Simple Plan. I boiled it down to money, greed, and coldness of humanity, basically, because the way this movie, and this is obviously a metaphor for what's shown through the setting. A lot of people have called this Sam Raimi's whitest movie, and not just because it features only white people, but because it's freezing. It's snowbound. It's a film set in snowy weather, and that works perfectly with the themes. And a lot of people talk about Sam Raimi being such an entertainer's director where he just wants to entertain. That doesn't mean that he doesn't enjoy a good theme. He always does. Every one of his films, even the worst, have hearts and have meaning behind them. This being his darkest, well, at least most somber film, it really showcases that greed. Yes, there's money involved. There's greed involved. All these people start to hate each other, and most of them end up dying. Spoilers. This is a spoiler show, so I don't have to even say that. So what I chose for this one, it's called Einstock Winter Ale, and I've never had it before. It's 8.0 It's 8%. I've never had a winter ale that was 8% on the show before. But the themes of greed, money, betrayal, they're all set so well with this freezing cold setting. And the coldness of Hank and Sarah seep through this movie to where they're the last two standing. And they're really, the way the movie starts, they're the ones you think are going to be the sort of likable characters who are trying to stop this all from happening. But no, that doesn't happen. That's the big subversion in this film, is that they're the ones that end up basically killing everybody in the end. So we're going to have it now. It's very dark. It's a dark beer. Ooh, that's it's a powerful winter ale. It's there's molasses, there's definitely molasses, there's pine. It's strong. It's definitely strong. You can feel it. It's good. I don't know. I don't think I could buy a 6-pack of this, but yeah, it's enjoyable. But it fits the theme of this movie very well. Okay, so everybody, this is the segment of the show where we typically have a different filmmaker for every time we do one of these, but obviously we're doing Sam Raimi films, so we have the same filmmaker, Ben. So I'm curious to see what we chose, which each one of us chose for Sam Raimi himself, and I'm going to let you go, sir.
Ben, when you suggested doing a Sam Raimi episode, I was so psyched because Sam Raimi was one of the first actors I kind of like clung to when I started to view film as an art and like something I wanted to get into.
Same.
True story. For years and maybe still today, Evil Dead 2 is my favorite movie. Army of Darkness is a close second, I guess, technically. When I got into Columbia, when I applied to Columbia, I wrote a paper about the sound design in Evil Dead 2. And besides the Evil Dead trilogy, I loved the first two Spider-Man movies. They were some of the first good superhero movies of the new millennium. And really showed that was obviously a viable thing. He was brought back to do the second Doctor Strange film. He has such great films like Drag Me to Hell. I didn't even realize how much of his filmography I had not seen until we started doing this. Like Crime Wave, I need to see still. The Gift. I think he did some baseball movie of some kind. But the thing I love about Raimi's films, and it was really watching A Simple Plan for the first time before we did this, is definitely the darkest, most tense of his movies I've seen. But even then, because it was Sam Raimi, I knew I was in for a good time. And like even when you see a Sam Raimi film, it's funny, it's exciting, it can be dramatic, it can be sad. They're all great reasons, but like if you watch enough of his filmography, he almost becomes familiar. He doesn't become old, he doesn't get in a rut, but like it's like he worked so closely with the Coen brothers over the years. It like almost you talk about how your film, like A Simple Plan, is like Fargo.
Yeah.
Like it's a similar thing where like the Coen brothers are really good at, like, they can do a movie in any genre, and I love that about them. And I feel the same way about Sam Raimi. And when I was looking at beers, it was a little hard for me to decide what to get. But I got something from Bell's, okay? Because they're out of Michigan, where he's from. And that's another thing I love about him. He's a Midwest filmmaker, right? He did Evil Dead, the first Evil Dead, and he built a career off of that. And he's from, I think, Dearborn. He's from Michigan. So I got a Michigan beer. And it's called No Yeah. Just a really nice beer. And I guess like that's kind of the vibe I get with Raimi's films, but definitely like my favorite films, like the Evil Dead films, the Spider-Man films, like kind of is more like bombastic films. Darkman. Oh my God, how we talked all this time about Raimi, nobody brought up Darkman, right? That movie's great. But yeah, it's no, yeah. I mean, like, of course, it's Sam Raimi. It's going to be really nice. It's going to be great. So yeah, I'm gonna try this now. It's like I said, from Bell's. It's a they say it's an easy drinking golden ale. No. Yeah. No, it's good. No, yeah. No, it's good. I like it. Yeah. Let me have a little bit more of this.
Yeah, drink up, man.
Yeah, crisp. Hits you a little bit at the back of the tongue. I mean, this is the perfect name for it. It's just a really nice beer, man. Like I could drink. I'm drinking this in the middle of winter. This would be a great summer beer. Just really mellow, right? Which is not necessarily what you will see in any given Sam Raimi movie, but like it's almost like Sam Raimi's films are almost like hanging out with an old friend. Like you get to know them, but that doesn't mean they can't like keep your interest or have you cracking up at any given point, and that's just really nice.
Well, I heard you like talk about what Sam Raimi meant to you going into Columbia and the first Evil Dead movie. You and I have known each other a long time, almost 20 years, but we've never really talked. We've never had the Sam Raimi talk. I feel the same way. When I first saw the original Evil Dead, it was the movie I always wanted to make, like with friends and isolated cabin or whatever, bottle movie, whatever you want to call it. That movie gave me so much inspiration, not because I wanted to do horror, just because it immediately spoke to like what his strengths are. And one of the things I love so much about Dead by Dawn, Evil Dead 2, is that he essentially got to remake that movie with a slightly bigger budget and make it more interesting, more fun, more visually appealing. But I agree with you completely. Like Sam Raimi meant a lot to me as a kid, and his filmography, mostly hits. Misses are just like the misses that he had were movies that like really nobody saw. Like he did Crime Wave like right after Evil Dead, and it was kind of considered a joke, but
this might be controversial, but I do not care for Spider-Man 3. I know some people love it.
I don't think that's controversial. I think most people think that.
I just don't know anymore. I mean, some people love Amazing Spider-Man 2 now, and like,
well, I don't think Spider-Man 3 was necessarily his fault.
I know the whole history of that. That's we could do a whole other episode, a whole other.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that on Flights.
Yeah. I don't think it was his fault either. But at the end of the day, his name's on it, and I didn't like it.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So Ben, just like yourself, for filmmaker, I did go with a Michigan beer. Because I'm not from Michigan. I did, like yourself, that's where I met you in college. I went to a Midwest college in Chicago, and I got a taste for good Midwestern beer, old style. You have your Yanglings, your hams, but I did notice throughout Sam Raimi's special features and behind the scenes stuff, he does love coffee. So I found a combination of both a beer from where he's from. I mean, this is from Grand Rapids, Michigan, not exactly where he's from, but Michigan. And it is a latte. It's a iced latte beer. It's very strong, so I'm not going to drink too much of it. But it is from Founders Brewery, which I've been a big fan of for a long time, but I've never heard of this one or seen this one or even know that Founders was a Michigan brewery until I looked into where Sam Raimi was from. And the reason that I picked it is because despite this film, A Simple Plan, being what I've called his most subdued and sort of quiet, mature film, it's so stacked full of imagery of his. The crows, Ben. I mean, they're all over this movie. There's when you see the crows, like they're first introduced when they're eating the pilot's head, which is a great Sam Raimi pull. That might not, because this is from a book, so that might not even have been in that. But Sam Raimi's like, we have to have a crow pecking someone's face off. Well, then you see imagery of crows throughout the house of Hank and Sarah. Like they're just in the background. There's just like
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's just like crow wooden fixtures and things like that throughout. And the way that Raimi uses the crow later in the movie, especially when we get to the FBI agent who's leading them down this path, and it doesn't go from the crow's point of view, but it's like a crow sort of over the shoulder where you see the crow's head and you're like, okay, so now we're at the end, this is happening. It's going down. But yes, it didn't win the accolades that something like Fargo did, and maybe it didn't deserve it, but like as a Raimi movie, like him holding, I think he learned a lot from this movie as a filmmaker, because I mean, he was obviously very talented before this, but he learned how to hold on characters and let them do monologues and trust the actors. And I think Billy Bob Thornton was a huge part of that learning curve. When Jacob is doing the monologue about never kissing a girl, it is so sad.
Yeah.
It's so fucking sad. And Raimi just lets the camera rest on him occasionally, doing a shot reverse shot with Bill Paxton's Hank. But for the most part, just going, Billy Bob is under control in this. Like, let's just let him go. Let's let him cook, And that scene is just devastating. Like, so by the end of the movie, when he's like, it's okay, just, you got to kill me. It's the only way that we all get away. It's so sad, and like, Raimi usually, this movie has levity in it, but Raimi usually relies so much on something becoming bigger than the movie to kind of self-explain it in the end. And in this movie, he doesn't. He just lets it be what it is. And I think it's because, he's directing something that was a book or whatever. But I just find this film one of his best films. Top three for me. You have your Evil Dead 2, Spider-Man 2, Simple Plan for me. But anyway, so the beer I went with, like I said, it's an iced latte from Grand Rapids, Michigan, KBS from Founders Brewery. It's very strong. I'm gonna chug the whole thing, Ben. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Founders Brewery, good brewery, very good.
The Quick of the Dead's great. It's just as simple as that. It's one of Sam Raimi's best films. I wish he'd do another Western or two. Doesn't need to be a sequel to this. Like the style, effects, and sound design of things like Evil Dead 2, and puts them in a Western. And you've never seen a Western like this. You haven't. I don't know if we've ever done one where I thought every beer was great. Not good, I'm talking great. Come across any of these in the wild, you should pick it up, give it a go, okay? But still, clear winner of the night, Whiskey Sour. This was awesome. This was so good. I'm gonna have a little bit more right now. It was so good. Revolution Brewing with tip-top proper cocktails. Little bit of malt. What did it say? I'm just going to read it again. It said,
I'm so jealous, Ben.
Oak infused malt beverage with natural flavors and lemon flavors. I love them lemon flavors. Get this one. I'm not messing around. This is like the beer I've loved the most since we started doing this.
My favorite beer of the night is my favorite Pilsner that I've had a bunch of times before, California Pilsner, called Plenty for All. I can't drink it, Ben, because I've already finished the can, but I will drink I'll drink some of my least favorite beer of the night, which is this winter ale.
You like the coffee ale more than that one?
We are super excited for Send Help. That's why we're doing this show. So everybody go out and see that. And we'll see you next time, Ben.
I'll see you at high noon, where I'll drink your cinema.
Listen to the first verse.